Thank you for being here. I want to talk to you about the standard occupational classifications. It's a vast catalog that it's a catalog that is maintained with numerous occupations. It's maintained by your office, correct?
It is.
And the purpose of it is to maintain solely for statistical purposes, right?
It is, yeah.
So it's important that we get that right.
It's important that we do get it right, and we do. OMB shepherds this process. It's an interagency process. It's once every 10 years. We completed that process, which was really took 3 years, started in 2014, ended in 2017, and we will be in presumably in 2024, if the American people give us another opportunity, we'll be going through that process again every 10 years.
I want to take some time here to help inform you and your office on the issues related to 911 dispatchers in the profession, as it is currently categorized as telephone operators, secretaries, taxi cab dispatchers, and the type. I spent 17 and a half years of my life working as a 911 dispatcher, and I can tell you that while those industries are critically important support organizations and jobs, the work of a 911 dispatcher is not truly that. The type of training that you have to submit to is very, very different and critical. Not only do you have to know local laws, state laws, and federal laws, but you have to be able to act on seconds because someone else's life depends on your actions and how you judge the type of call that is evolving in your ear. As a 911 dispatcher, I have experienced entire buildings around me being evacuated because of a bomb threat. Everyone except the 911 dispatcher. Why? Because it is a critical position. People understand that in order for a first responder, a paramedic, a police officer, a fire truck to get to a location, you have to first answer the call, and you have to first understand what the caller needs are and assess the situation over the telephone. 911 dispatchers now have to do even more than that. They receive text to 911. They receive video to 911. Extremely violent situations unfold not just in their ears, but in their eyes. When there are critical incidents such as the LA riots, the Rodney King riots, I worked through all of that. Floods, major earthquakes that have crippled the Los Angeles area. Everyone is still, on the 911 center, has to come to work because someone has to answer those calls. And if you can't report directly to your job, you have to report to the closest police station to your home. You don't have the luxury to stay home and take care of your family members. You have to go to work. So it is a critically important position. I remember an incident where I had to be the crisis negotiator on the line while police officers broke through the roof to try to take control of a situation, a hostage situation at a convenience store, a liquor store. Okay, that's not the work of a secretary. So I'm trying to understand how, after reviewing this work environment and after your folks going to a 911 center, and I assume that they plugged in and they talked to folks, that after doing all of that and reviewing the profession, that you would still come to terms to classify them, to continue to classify them as secretaries, taxi cab dispatchers. That is unfortunate because when we don't classify people correctly, then we rob the community of resources such as training to ensure that we have professional staff that are working every single day. I know that If you have an emergency, if your loved one has an emergency, you want the most professional person to answer your call for help, don't you, Director?
I do.
So why would you leave all of these people behind?
Again, I would just affirm the importance of the dispatchers. This was an interagency process with thousands of comments begun under the last administration, in which career officials are sorting through all these and providing recommendations. But I'll just say that I take the passion of which you've talked about this, and it is certainly something that we will keep track of as we head into the next review.
I want to just continue by saying that the rationale on the SOC website states that the work performed of a 911 dispatcher is not a first responder, as most dispatchers are precluded from administering actual care. I can't even count how many babies I've helped to deliver as a 911 dispatcher. I can't even count how many lives I've saved by talking people out of suicide. I can't tell you how many heartbreaks I saved by answering a call of a suicide caller who decided, as I answered the phone, to shoot himself with a gun. And they dialed 911 because they did not want their loved one to find the body. So, it's a job to send someone out there to ensure that someone other than a loved one picks up the body. I've introduced a bill, the 911 Saves Act. There are 128 co-authors to that bill. There are 26 senators. It's bipartisan. And it is our request to your office to look closely at this profession. And, this is 2020. Our country is going through a lot. We're talking about potential terrorist attacks. We're talking about people that wish to do us harm in the homeland and outside of the homeland. 911 dispatchers are critical to the first responder family. And I hope that you will work with my office and 128 other members in the House, bipartisan, and 26 senators, and bring justice to how these dispatchers are being treated.
Congresswoman, I'm happy to take a look at that bill and consider it and send it around for the reviews of other agencies that were a part of the statistical classification.
Thank you so much, and I yield back.